Other than that, let's talk furthermore. Strong versus a weak currency. Okay, so I've never discussed this like a separate unit, but let's talk about it. So let's do like a strong versus a weak currency. Okay, so let's talk about advantages of a high currency. Advantage of high currency. So a few advantages we have. Number one, if your currency is strong, there's going to be a downward pressure on inflation. Why is that? It's because that the key imported raw material prices will be low. What's gonna happen as a result? Your cost of production. Nowadays, all economies are open, and there's a lot of imported stuff that comes about, and so definitely everyone will face an advantage, something like this. What else? Well, not just raw material point of view, say you have an advantage. We're saying if your currency is strong, then more imports for consumers can be bought. Okay, even raw material and stuff. So when more can be bought, consumers can afford more, and the living standard will rise as a result of that. Okay, number three, when your currency is high, the thing is that the foreigners are going to find your product to be expensive, which can hurt your export. And that's not a good case. So what the country's businesses can do is that, okay, fine, our currency is strong, but can we make our product efficient? That if the currency is strong on one side, we can make our product cheaper through efficiency on the other side. And we try to balance it off. So it kind of like forces, okay? So a high value of currency forces domestic producers to improve efficiency and bring costs down, as foreigners will find goods to be expensive otherwise. Okay, so that's one of the advantages of having a high. फिर एक चीज़ term of trade के बारे में हमने पढ़ी है. Term of trade is that when you export one good, how many imports can you get out of it? Okay, so from the terms of trade point of view, it will improve because one unit of export will import more units. You're going to get a better value for the export that you are doing. Okay, but at the same time, while you have all of this, you have certain disadvantage of high value currency. Like for example, when we think about Britain, we're like, okay, from Pakistani, if one person wants to travel to Britain, every pound costs him over $200, and that's a very expensive thing. So the tourist might be discouraged to go there and might start looking towards the Far East side where the values are not so different. Okay, so the disadvantages of high currency would be a damage to export industry because they might not be able to compete. Okay, so that's a problem. उसके अलावा it might be even damaging to domestic industry. Now, how is that? How is it bad for? Now, if obviously if your export industries are getting hurt, your local domestic producers are getting hurt because everyone is not exporting. A lot of companies are exporting and importing also at the same time. So, in that way, when you find foreign goods to be cheaper and you start importing them, they start to compete with your local goods. And when they're competing with your local goods, your local industries get a tough time competing with them. Okay, so that's an issue. You have a strong currency, you're importing too much, that imported stuff is cheap, and it's competing with your local businesses, and that is a problem. So you're exporting more, you're importing less. Okay, export goes down and import starts to go up, and as a result, it might rise the deficit in your currency. And this deficit means that more money is going out than the money is coming in. It will have, overall, all of this will have an implication on your economic growth. It will have an impact on unemployment to rise to quite a degree. Okay, and so a high currency has its issues, and then you can just work out the advantages and disadvantages of a weak currency. All right, it's just the opposite of this.